was in Quetzaltenango, Guatemala, which for short, they call it Shela. So Shela, Guatemala, and it's about 8,000 feet above sea level. So that was a whole experience in itself. I stayed with a host family. Griselda was her name, and she had a husband and 3 kids and a dog. It was awesome. I loved it. It was like coming home to your parents' house every day. And she had home-cooked meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I had my own room. There was a dog. I love dogs. So it was so nice. It was so comforting. At the end of your day, I'd get back to the house and she wants to know about my day and what I did. And it was just nice having like a spot to go back to where you felt safe. It was comfortable after a while. My Spanish definitely got better because they spoke no English. I think I ran into maybe one person during my trip there that spoke English. Other than that, it was all Spanish speaking. In my first day of work, someone from the company that we work with, A Broader View, met me at my host family, and they walked me to the shelter the first day. They don't give you the address to the shelter because it's confidential. And it's through the government. So they walked me there and it was like, hope you remember how to get here. See you later. So by day 2, you got to figure out how to get there. It was like a 25-minute walk. I'd wake up, have breakfast, and then head out for my day, walk about 25 minutes. And then it was kind of like the Wizard of Oz. You'd knock on this big gate, this big door, and this man would peep through this little peephole, and you'd have to tell him what you were there for, tell him your name. He'd look at his sheet, make sure you were allowed to be there, and then he'd let you in. The shelter was for girls 18 and under that had been abused sexually, non-sexually. A lot of them had children. There was girls as young as 12 that had children, just had babies, and they're breastfeeding, and it was eye-opening. It was totally different than anything I've ever been introduced to here, anything I've ever seen. Obviously, we have teen pregnancy in America, but 12 is crazy. Prior to me going out there, I had asked for donations from people. I was taking a whole suitcase knowing I was going to the shelter, and they had very minimal things. I took a whole suitcase of items that I was just going to donate and leave there. While I was working at the Spectrum, I hit up Sephora, the beauty store, the makeup store, and just told the girls, the workers there, what I was doing, and a bunch of them donated makeup that they get from working there. When I got to the shelter, I gave it all to the moms, to the girls, and seeing their faces light up was an experience I'll never forget. I just made their whole year, and it was something that we would take for granted here. Throughout the weeks that I was there, they started sharing their makeup, so I'd come in and girls were wearing like eyeshadow, and it was really fun just to see them using it or asking me like, what is this? It was fun giving that to them, giving something to the moms, helping them feel pretty and loved and all that stuff. So I'm part of our ACT team over at the police department, so I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I was going to teach them some sort of like self-defense, right? 90% of these girls either just had a baby or 9 months pregnant, so you can't teach them Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The room, for the amount of girls that were in there was probably 100 girls to a tiny room, and they give them a cot, and that's for them and their babies. So they sleep with their babies, and when they have to go to school, they leave their babies on the bed and hope they don't roll off. And while I was there, at least one rolled off and fell on the floor because there's so many babies, and sometimes it'd just be me. At one time, like by myself, I was left with 25 babies, and it was just me. And so I only have enough hands. At one point, I was holding 4 of them, like rocking on this leg and bouncing on this leg, and this one's holding a bottle and crying, and there's 20 more babies sitting in front of you all crying and all wanting something from you, and it was just me at times. It was wild. I'm not kidding you, like these girls would go have, like some of them were pregnant, like 9 months pregnant. I'd say while I was there, 4 of them had their babies. So they'd go to the hospital, have their babies, in a day or 2 they'd be back, and they're in class like the next day. So these babies are like days old, hours old. And so I'd prioritize them. And then the toddlers, if they're getting into something, prioritize that. It's like, you kind of just got to weigh your options. Like I said, there was a baby that I guess had woken up from their nap, rolled off the bed, never cried, never did anything. So when the mom got back from class, she's like, where's my baby? And me and the staff members were like, I don't know. And her baby had fallen between 2 cots. and was on the floor and had like a cut over its eye, small cut, but was just lying on the floor. And it was no biggie to her. She literally picked up her baby, licked the blood off, and kept going about her day. Like her baby didn't just fall off the cot and was laying on the floor for an unknown amount of time. The first weekend I got there, I immediately went and I traveled to different cities. I went to Lake Atitlan, I went to Antigua. I used every ounce of free time that I had. I'd get home around 4 p.m. and I'd immediately go and start exploring my town or the city next to us or something. So I had no free time. Like, I was using it wherever I could. I saw the world's greatest McDonald's. Like, the most beautiful McDonald's I've ever seen was in Antigua, Guatemala. It was huge. It's like a restaurant there. There's waterfalls. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful McDonald's I've ever seen. One word, I'd say eye-opening, life-changing maybe. You saw some things that I've never seen before. I probably will never see again in my lifetime. Being able to help the girls, and again, they'd look at me like I was a unicorn when I first walked in, but by the end of it, they were all crying and begging for me not to leave. And the connections you make over there, and my host mom, my host family, like, I would have never met her. So I would just say life-changing. It was awesome.